Several minutes of commercial-free football starts now.
Here are the Purple Mortgage Guys.
Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Purple Mortgage Guys. Coming to you before the Packers game this weekend. Guys, big week, big game. Should be a ton of fun. A lot of trash talk going on Twitter, it looks like these days, with Packers fans, beat writers, if you'll call them that, people looking for clicks on different things, calling the Vikings frauds. Tanner, I think you mentioned you've never seen a team below 500 talk so much crap in your life, and this is what we're up against going into a week 17 matchup where we can hang on to the 2 seed and potentially have a path to the NFC Championship game or further. And the Packers are playing for their lives and need a little help to get into the playoffs. So 2 teams with different motivations for different reasons, but it's at Green Bay. We've only had one 2-score victory on the season, but that came against the same Packer team in week 1, and should be a lot of fun. So Tanner, I'm going to start with you. You've been getting quite a bit of heat on Twitter here the last couple of days from some Packers fans and other individuals. So tell me what you're looking forward to for Sunday at Lambeau, 325.
For a game that doesn't have like much relevancy for us, since we already clinched the division, I have never like you guys probably feel the same way, never been like so hyped for a Vikings Packers matchup before. And a lot of it just has to do with like how confident this team is right now. I can't believe that. I mean, they barely beat a Dolphins team with a QB who shouldn't have played the second half at all. And suddenly they think that they're the hottest team in the league. So I would love nothing more than to shut that entire fan base up. And this squad going into Sunday and just ending their season in their stadium. And I mean, there's just a lot of fiery components going into this game. I mean, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to see Jai Alexander's interview that he had yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Basically saying that Justin Jefferson's nearly 200-yard game was a fluke in the first week of the season. So they're talking all the smack. So I'm just ready to lay the wood on somebody. It's not going to be an easy game. It sucks that it's in Lambeau, but I think it'll be that much more satisfying winning in their stadium as opposed to ours to end their season.
The way I kind of look at it is we've got 2 chances to win a big playoff type atmosphere game in a hostile environment on the road, and it's either going to have to be in Lambeau or in San Francisco. And give me Lambeau with the Packers all day. So hopefully we can close the deal on that one. Goose, what are you looking forward to for Sunday, or what's your overall take on the game coming up?
Yeah, Tanner hit on it. I mean, the 2 seed is plenty to play for, as far as having something to play for, but just the ramp up to this game, the bulletin board material that Jair is throwing out there, especially I feel like Justin Jefferson is such a like respectable player, with taking hits and always has nothing but like respect for his opponents. Like every time it's like, oh, he's a really talented corner. I always like to go up against the best. So to throw that out there, I know is going to fuel his fire. I was thinking this is going to be a big Delvin Cook game, but gosh, after that, I feel like JJ is going to be real fired up. It should be good. I want to see our team perform. I'm a little worried about, it's been quite a few weeks now where we've come out and not been firing on all cylinders, and we've figured it out. So still looking for that full game. This would be a perfect one to put it together against. Just really pumped for it.
So I know the talking point is the Packers have won 3 straight and they're one of the hottest teams. But if you look at those games, they beat the Bears, who are at the bottom of the division. They then beat the Rams on Monday Night Football at home with Baker Mayfield and a team that has been struggling greatly. And then they were trailing those Dolphins with 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter when Tua likely got his latest concussion. And after that, they turned the game around and picked off some balls that the three of us could probably secure and haul in ourselves. So those wins are not overly impressive. But if that's the narrative and that's what we need to hear going into to hype it up, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
it'll be a fun one.
Last thing I wanted going into this week was to feel like the big dog. So I love all of this talk. Everyone painting us as the underdog. So pretty excited. One thing I forgot to mention, Vikings Entertainment Network did a couple pieces, and they were pretty clear about, like, I think Jair after the game was also talking about Jerry Gray, former defensive backs coach for the Vikings, giving a big locker room speech that turned the Packers around. And Pete Bursich in the film room was like, the wide receivers still open. Like, they just threw it right to the D-backs. So they didn't really change anything. But if you want to say it was some big motivational speech, then you could say that.
I mean, I know Tua had a concussion, but those were some of the worst interceptions you'll ever see at NFL or even a college level. Like, those were high school quarterback type throws. So, and obviously the concussion's a big deal. Don't want to make light of that, but he should have not been out there for sure. Looks like the weather for Sunday is supposed to be, we're talking Lambeau in January. It could be brutal, but it's going to be mid-30s, no wind, no precip. So we should be able to throw that ball around. I know that helps Rodgers as well, but it's going to be exciting to see what Jefferson can do with a little bit of hype behind some of the comments that have been made as well. So should be a fun one, guys. Tanner, let's get into your tidbits for the week, because I'm excited to hear what you've come up with for the Packers Vikings game here at Lambeau on Sunday. What do you got?
All right. The Vikings are 57, 64, and 3 all time against the Packers, including 26, 34, and 3 in Wisconsin. Brent, you already hit on the weather. Obviously, I think in January, a lot of people probably have some concerns about what weather conditions are going to be like in outdoor stadiums. Supposed to be pretty good for Wisconsin that time of year. Mostly cloudy, no wind factor, with a high of 38 on Sunday. So that's, I would say, considered warm weather for January in Wisconsin. The Vikings are looking for their first season sweep of the Packers since 2017. That was the last time the Vikings went to the NFC Championship. This one's probably my favorite stat. The Packers are 0-6 this season when opponents have had more rushing attempts than passing attempts against them. So that, to me,
say that one more time.
The Packers are 0-6 this season. They've not won a game.
Okay.
When the opponent that they are playing has more rushing attempts than passing attempts against them. So it seems pretty evident that the key to success against their defense has come on the ground as opposed to through the air. Kirk Cousins is 5-4-1 in his career against the Packers, including 1-1-1. He did have the one tie at Lambeau Field. In those starts, he's averaging 286 yards a game. He's thrown for 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and a 110.1 QB rating. So Kirk has gotten up for these games. He's played pretty well against Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers' numbers are almost equivalent, I would say, from a touchdown to interception ratio against the Vikings. He is 16-11-1 in his career against the Vikings, including 9-3-1 at home. In his starts, he's averaging 262 yards a game, 60 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and a 110.5 QB rating. Aaron Rodgers looking to make some history this week. He needs 32 completions to eclipse 5,000 career completions for his career. He's currently sitting at 8th in NFL history. Mason Crosby, Packers kicker, needs 3 field goals this week to pass Steven Gostkowski for 12th most in league history. Currently sitting at 390 total career made field goals. This will be Zadarius Smith's and Chandon Sullivan's first game back to Lambeau Field since their departure last season. I would imagine that almost more than anybody else on the team getting up for this game is probably going to be Zadarius Smith. You have to imagine he's probably going to be pretty excited about this. Kirk Cousins, if you guys have had a chance to look at his stats from like the beginning of the year to the second half of the season, he should be in that MVP conversation. He's put up some very impressive numbers. He's third in the league in passing attempts, fifth in passing yards, fourth in touchdown passes, and he needs 9 completions this week to pass Matt Hasselbeck for 25th in league history. Justin Jefferson probably is making a case to have his name thrown in the MVP Bowl as well. First in the league in catches. It's not even really close at this point. He needs 27 catches in the last 2 games here to break Michael Thomas's NFL record of 149 catches set a few years ago. Typically, I would say I don't think it's doable, but with him, I would say you probably never know. Depends if he needs to see the field against the Bears next week. So still first in targets and first in receiving yards. He needs 209 yards to break Calvin Johnson's NFL record that was set in 2012. And he is the second highest graded receiver per Pro Football Focus. Tyreek Hill is the only receiver that has a higher grade so far this year. Dalvin Cook needs 72 rushing yards this week to reach 6,000 career rushing yards for him. The Vikings have 2 of the best tackles in the league on the same team. I never thought I would ever be able to say that after all of the suffering that we have had to go through here the past 15 to 20 years. Christian Darrisaw is the second highest graded tackle in the league. Brian O'Neill is 5th. Pretty good corner tandem as well. Minimum 200 snaps. Patrick Peterson is 7th, the 7th graded corner in the league, and Duke Shelley is 14th. Minimum 200 snaps on the year.
You're bringing a smile to Goose's face.
Wild.
As bad as our pass defense is, that is pretty wild that we do have a tandem like that. So, Packers safety Darnell Savage is the 5th lowest graded safety in the league. Adrian Amos is the 9th lowest graded safety in the league. The Vikings are the 4th overall highest graded team now. The Packers are 12th. And another key component here, the Vikings have the 2nd highest graded run defense in the league. The Packers are 26th. And then I'll end the tidbits on my penalties tweet. The Vikings are the 4th least penalized team in the league this week. So for me, myself, I know a lot of fans, Packers fans specifically, say I'm making an excuse here. I don't want it to look that way, so you can take it as you wish. But I feel like in my history of fandom, the Packers have always been heavily favored. It seems like in Lambeau, and the refs seem like they always do whatever they can to ensure that Green Bay is always in the big dance. So watch out for some record-setting or season high penalties, I should say, this season for the Vikings on Sunday.
How many do we average a game?
Just under 5. I think it was 4.9.
All right, so we'll have 5 in the first half, is what you're saying.
First quarter.
All right, is that our Tanner's Tidbits?
Yes, sir.
Any word on Garrett Bradbury? Does he have a chance at going this week, or is he out?
He's not going to play.
He's not. Shoot.
I don't think it's official, but he hasn't participated in any practice at all this week, so almost for
I
sure.
saw on the other side, Watson hasn't practiced yet either, so it'll be interesting if, as we're recording this here, it's Friday morning, so we'll see if he practices and has a designation going into Sunday. So,
speaking of injuries, do you think we're going to have a Chris Reed sighting at left guard? I saw Ezra looks like he's been pretty limited.
If he's practicing on a limited basis, I would say that he's probably going to play. But
do you think that would?
You guys, I don't think we can undersell the 2 seed versus 3 seed thing. That is huge. So
yeah, for sure. Do you think Chris Reed would for sure be the fill in there?
As opposed to like Oli Udoh or?
Yeah, I don't know who they might stick there, but I'm guessing it would for sure be Chris. But
I would assume it'd definitely be Chris Reed.
Guys, we're a good almost 4 months into this show, and that's the first time we've ever uttered the words Oli Udoh. I believe this is a PMG first. So, all right, let's get into our bold predictions for Sunday. Packers are favored by 3.5. We have been underdogs 4 other times, I believe, this year, including losses that we had to Dallas, Philadelphia and Detroit at Detroit. And we were also underdogs in Buffalo, which we came out on top there, obviously, with that epic game. So 3.5-point underdogs on the road. Game of the week, 325, like the whole nation will be watching. I believe there's just a little LA and Northern California contingent that will not be watching this game on CBS. So, guys, what's going to happen? Spotlight's going to be on the Vikings, on Cousins. Goose, I'm going to let you start this week. Give me your bold prediction for the game, and then we'll get into the score.
I was going to offer to go last because I feel like I've been stepping on toes lately with my predictions, and I have a couple. So hopefully I don't take anyone's. I'm going to go Daniil and Za'Darius combined for 5 or more sacks in their return, and Za'Darius's return, and Daniil's been playing well, so I think the combination of the two are going to have a big game.
That's a lot of sacks, dude.
I know. I had 4 written down. Didn't know if that was really bold. I've seen them both play well, and I think if they can put it together, Za'Darius is all year long. We've seen players playing their former teams, and it seems like they've been really, really up for it. So I think we're going to see early in the year Za'Darius this week. I'll save my second little part 2 for after you guys are done.
Tanner, what do you got?
Are we doing score prediction too, or just
No, just your bold. There's your bold one for the game.
I already hinted I'm gonna go penalties this week. No player specifics. The Vikings season high in penalties this season for a game was 10 against the Cardinals. I forget what week that was, like week 9 or something, I think. I'm going to say that they're going to match or have more than 10 penalties this week against the Packers.
These going to be, for the most part, self-inflicted, or are these going to be phantom face mask, horse collar?
That's tough to say. It could be a
hit on the quarterback.
Because if you come out flat again, I think that momentum kind of rides, and they kind of kick themselves in the foot. We've always been a team that seems to be notorious doing that. So it could be a combination of kicking ourselves in the butt and just having calls not go our way. I feel like we've had a lot of that this year, more than in the past, I would say.
I like it. That's a unique one. Goose, you didn't step on my toes. You might have grazed it a little bit, but I'm going to go Za'Darius Smith on a little 3-item parlay.
Ooh, I like it.
You guys remember Everson Griffin, right? What was he good for once a game?
Jumping off sides.
Yep. Za'Darius is going to be so jacked. He's going to get an offsides or an encroachment penalty. He's also going to have at least 1 sack, and he's going to be part of 1 turnover, either a tipped ball, a forced fumble, land on something, get an interception, be part of the play on an interception. So,
and 1 broken collarbone.
Hey, if it happens, it happens.
I like the parlay, Brent.
All right. Give me the score, Goose.
Real quick, I'm going to go with my 2-piece. I've been thinking about doing 1 on offense, 1 on defense now for a few weeks. So I was going to go Delvin, but with the bulletin board material, the poor safety play from the Packers, I'm going to go JJ after this game is going to have less than 100 yards to go for the 2,000 mark, not the record, the 2,000 mark, which I think would leave him about 50 for the record going into Chicago.
So what does he have right now?
Right now, he is at 1,756. Basically, it'd be about 150 yard plus game for him.
So 150 plus. All right. All right. Give me the score, Goose.
So I was trying to do my best Tanner Weber research on
It's
what
hard.
to yeah, it is. I didn't want to give the Packers the loss against the Giants in London as a home loss, but I was looking at they've got 2 losses in Lambeau against the Jets 27-10 week 6, against the Titans 27-17 week 10. I think our offense is better than the Jets and the Titans offense, so I'm going to go 34-24. Vikings win.
Ooh, 10-point swing. Feeling good about
Swing.
it.
I feel like this should be a close game, but the more I look at it, the Packers offense just isn't the same. And as much as it was that for teams to beat them is to run the ball more than they pass, I'm pretty sure there's a similar statistic to them winning, that they're running the ball more than they're passing or leaning on their run game. So I'm gonna bank on our defense holding their rushers in check, and Aaron's gonna be forced to make some plays, and I just don't think he's got it in him anymore.
I'll take it. So they'd have two score wins on the year, both against Green Bay.
I almost made that my bold prediction, was that our two largest margins of victory were going to be against the Packers.
Well, you just did. Tanner, give me the score.
I think you should go first, Brent.
All right. I just want to thank this guy by the name of Peter Bukowski.
Butkowski.
Okay, on Twitter. He was looking for clicks. I'm sure he got them, so hopefully he liked them. But I feel like there's no way that didn't make it back to the players, so I think that's awesome. I hope we win the game, of course, but I think it would be great if we win the game by less than one score and maybe even get outgained yardage, some other fluke stats that would point to there's no way we should have won. So I'm going to say Vikings win on another one-score game, 27-26, 1 point in Lambeau.
What did you say? 27-26?
Yes, sir.
1 point win. Okay. I'm going to be the negative Nancy. As much as I really, really want to see a win and just end their season, I'm going to say the Vikings are going to lose this week. I think they're not going to play their best ball. And I think they're going to have some assistance. The Packers are going to have some assistance from the officials this week. I just have concerns about that. I think the league wants to do anything they can to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs because it gets views. Everybody loves the villain. So I'm going to say the Packers win on a field goal, 22-19.
All right.
That hurts my heart, Tanner.
Thanks for the
Hurts my
buzzkill
heart
on
to
this
say
Friday
that. I
morning.
don't even like saying that on a Vikings podcast.
Hey, they can't win them all, but the vibe is going to be significantly different Monday morning, depending on how this game goes Sunday afternoon.
Tanner, do you know how pissed off I'm going to be if your prediction comes true? You know how much of I don't know if I'm more of a defensive stand or more frustrated with our offense, but if we lose and by giving up 22 against the Packers defense or offense that's been struggling and only score 19 against a not solid defensive unit, I'm going to be livid.
Well,
And then,
that's why we do these, Goose. So you can look back.
And then I'm gonna see all over social media another week of how the defense let Kirk Cousins and the offense down.
I think if we lose, I might just stay off social media for a week.
You're gonna need to.
That might be a good career move for you. All right. What are we going to be complaining about Monday then? You could say the refs, I guess. We'll let that be the one first name, one last name if you want the special Green Bay exception for week 17. Give me a name, Tanner.
Kirk Cousins. So we're complaining about Kirk Cousins because I think it seems like all of our like divisional foes, but just based off what I see like on social media, always see Kirk as like our out. I guess he seems like he is always pointed as the weakness, and I think I'll just be kind of upset if he doesn't show up this week. Not necessarily like not throwing interceptions or anything, but just doing what he can to like keep us in the game, I think is what we're all looking for. And if he comes into a pretty big game where us as fans want nothing more than to see the Packers lose this game and then for us to just end their season. This very well could be, keep this in mind, this could be Aaron Rodgers' last game that we play him in a Packers uniform. Mm-hmm. There is a slight chance that could happen. If the Packers don't make the playoffs, he's not going to be happy about it. So
this could be his last game with the Packers. There could be an injury if they lose, right?
Yeah. So I'll say if Kirk comes out this week and throws like 2 or 3 picks, he's going to be taking a ton of heat. And I would say that narrative that he has created for himself all season, that he is in that conversation of MVPs, will be completely flipped, and you won't hear that again on Monday or Tuesday. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
Gotcha. Goose, give me one name.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, Tanner. But it makes sense because every time I feel like I'm in the perfect position to like defend Kirk Cousins, he kind of has a little bit of a flop, and we got to start over and build it back up. So it's a good one. I'm gonna go with a name we've been talking about a decent amount. I think we're all afraid to maybe declare it reality, but I'm going to say if we lose, I'm going to be blaming Adam Thielen, the highest paid, probably number
Goose,
2 wide receiver in the league.
Back away from the camera a little bit here. You're wearing an Adam Thielen pullover.
I love him. I love him. One of my all-time favorites. And I don't want to blame him. I just think that if we lose, he's going to be a big part of it. He's had a tough season. In what we thought was going to be a big season for him. We knew he was aging, but when you have such a great number one to take that pressure off you, I thought he still had a few years left in him. So, and maybe he does. But I think if we lose, it's going to be because we didn't have a solid number 2 option, or really 3 option. Now I think he's safely behind TJ. So, Hope it doesn't come to this, but I think that's going to be how I'm feeling.
I really like that one, Goose, just because I feel like Jair Alexander, since he came out and said that this week about JJ, is probably going to be pounding the table to his defensive coach about getting as many reps against Justin Jefferson as possible. So we're definitely going to need a number 2 target to step up this week.
Yep.
Wow, this was like the most negative 5 minutes we've ever had with you guys here. We went from Tanner predicting a loss, throwing Kirk under the bus. Now Goose has given up on Thielen. You gonna stick with Harry, or are you gonna get rid?
Well, I don't think we're gonna lose, so I don't think I'm gonna be upset.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say we watch a lot of Vikings football, guys, and the kicker is always like up and down, right? So you're gonna go from the highest to highs to missing a couple chip shots or an extra point or something. It's gonna be a close game. So I think if we lose, hopefully we don't, I think there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on a missed kick that could have made the difference in the game. So I'll go with.
I thought he finally got the monkey off his back, Brent.
Hopefully he did.
He hasn't missed in weeks.
Brent's not letting him go.
I hope I'm wrong, just as you guys do, right? All right, guys, any closing thoughts for Sunday? What are we thinking? I really think I don't want to downplay this because I see a lot of people on some of these Facebook groups of the Vikings fans saying, well, we already got a home game. It doesn't matter. And I would say that these last 2 games are super, super important because I think the ceiling on the season goes from a divisional round loss at San Francisco. I will not be able to predict a victory there. I just can't see it, to potentially hosting the NFC Championship, because Philadelphia, they've got some key injuries. Jalen Hurts isn't 100%. Dallas did not look great last night, but if they could somehow get it together and pull off a victory in Philadelphia, then all of a sudden we're hosting the NFC Championship game. So I think this game is super, super important. And to say that it doesn't matter and the players shouldn't be up for it, that would be a huge letdown if we come out flat. So that's my, I guess, closing thought on the game.
Yeah, mine's kind of a branch off of that. There's so many opportunities for like getting ready for the playoffs here, like being able to play on the road in cold weather, beating a team that you should beat for both of our last 2 games of the year. You're going to have a veteran quarterback that is, considered by a lot of people to be maybe the most talented quarterback of all time. And then the next week you're going to face a dynamic young running quarterback. Like, just the amount of opportunities we have these next 2 weeks to prepare for anything and really see all these different looks is going to be big. So just really want us to take advantage of those opportunities. As much as it is nice to be healthy, I equally want to see the starters get their reps in and look good and take full advantage of them. What I want to see is them come out to a big lead and get to a position where they can get rest because we're winning big. That's what I want to see them motivated for.
Maybe that's their New Year's resolution.
Yeah. If you guys want some time off, then come out and blow the socks off an opponent and we'll give it to you.
Tanner?
Yeah, I just want to see Aaron Rodgers with his head on the ground leaving the stadium on Sunday, knowing that he's not going to get a chance to try and make any noise in the playoffs. And I think that just knowing how he is and who he is would be enough to frustrate him to probably maybe try and look at a change of scenery come the off season. So I think we're getting closer and closer to seeing the end of this empire that the Packers have had for the last 30 years with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And I'm hoping that this is the last game. I'd love to see the Vikings come out, punch them in the throat and say, hey, this is our division. This is our division here going forward, and put the Packers in their place. I would love nothing more than to see that.
We've talked a couple times about Rodgers wanting to leave if they lose. I also think the Packers, they're getting to the point where they have to make a decision on Jordan Love. He's not going to want to start at 32 years old. So I think it's going to be both Aaron being pissed off and the Packers being like, well, we've got a guy who has potential that we're either going to have to trade or commit to. So it'll be really interesting if we can maybe tip that first domino on their decision-making process.
Say the snowball effect or compound effect of what happened Sunday will answer a lot of these questions going forward. So good stuff, guys. Should be a fun one on Sunday. Hopefully we come out on top and we can celebrate to kick off the new year. But if you guys are looking out there for a home loan, hit up Goose or Tanner. They'd love to help you out with that. All 50 states. Maybe not as excited if you're in Wisconsin this week, but I would love to help you out nonetheless. So guys, have a great weekend. Happy New Year to everyone, and we'll talk again on Monday.